So yesterday we saw a day where all of the lower seeds won. We saw a day where the Connecticut Sun, and I kid you not, like I've been saying it since Layla Lacan has come back. I've been saying it. The Connecticut Sun are not that bad. Like they were of the Wings, Mystics, and Sun. I thought that the Sun were the team that had the best chance of beating the Fever. The Fever choked away 2 of those games, and then in fairness, the Sun choked away a big lead. But like, if the Sun beat the Sky, which they very well could, and the Dallas Wings lose to the Storm, which they're going to, the Dallas Wings are going to be in last place. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about this game right here, the Chicago Sky beating the New York Liberty. Is it a full-strength New York Liberty? No. Is it even a close to full-strength New York Liberty? Against this team, no, because they don't have Niara. Emma's not a true center. And in the defense of like the old skyscrapers, they were good. They were good. I still think there is a huge issue when, if you look at, say, how Ariel Atkins getting her shots, when these two players are on the floor at the same time, I kid you not, like they work well off each other at times, but like you can't drive to the basket. Like I'm not saying that Cardoso and Reese individually can't have success. I'm not saying individually that the two of them cannot have success while they're on the floor at the same time, because that can happen. I think the team is going to be garbage as long as they're built around these two, because I'm just trying to think off the top of my head a player like you probably need Paige Bueckers. You need mid-range shooters. Like you need Courtney Williams as the point guard with these two, because you're not going to be able to attack downhill to the basket out to P&R. But Cardoso, in her defense, when Cardoso can get the ball in positions to finish, she's an unbelievable finisher. And in fairness, Angel Reese, I thought she only had 3 assists, but I did think a lot of the high-low game was pretty good. And also, by the way, a lot of the high-low game from passing with Cardoso was good. Like, I have to say, like, when the three of these play like this, when Atkins, Reese, and Cardoso give you a combined 60, you're going to win a lot of games. You're going to win a lot of games. Like, I think the Sky would be dumb to move off Atkins next year unless they're going full rebuilds. I still think that the Sky should give up on one of these two players. Depends on what they're looking to do. Probably should be Cardoso. And look, I don't know if Cardoso's got to be giving you 20 points to be a net positive on a team, just purely because she just gets cooked in the pick and roll. Like she has to play drop coverage on the pick and roll. And we're seeing it with the Atlanta Dream that Brittany Griner is being like relegated to a bench player. But yesterday, I gotta say, late in that game, Angel absolutely bullied Phoebish and Emma, which is like, I've seen Phoebish lock down Aja before. It was bully ball. It was straight through. And I mean this, it's not even like Alyssa Thomas, where Alyssa Thomas just offensive fouls. I think Angel Reese is the strongest player in this league. I'm not joking. I genuinely think she's the strongest player because she's not offensively fouling. Sometimes on rebounds she is, but she's a hard player to referee when it comes to rebounding, because there are times where she's getting hacked by the defense trying to crawl all over, and there's times where she's fouling. So it's really hard to ref her offensive rebounding. So most of the time the referees are going to give a no call there, which I don't mind as long as they're consistent with it. Like the way she fights, there are times where she is committing offensive fouls, and then there are also a lot of times she is being fouled by the defense. So it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I don't really mind the referee swallowing their whistle in these scenarios, but she hit her free throws down the stretch. Like, that's one of the big things that you want to see. And just, I tweeted this out. This was, by the way, they were losing at this time. I tweeted it out, and I was like, Angel Reese's fourth quarter motor is crazy. I was like, for better or for worse, she is going to attack. And I mean this when I say this. Give me a player who is maybe not quite as skilled, but and will make an occasional dumb decision with a motor like Angel Reese over a player with no motor. Give me a player who's willing to take and miss the big shot to make them. Because Angel Reese down the stretch, 11 points in the fourth quarter. Or was it 10 in the fourth? 10 in the fourth. Like, I have to give credit where it's true. Because, like, look, She goes 10 points in the fourth quarter, 3 of 4 from the field, and they were not easy layups. She was finishing through contact, and you've got to give credit where credit's due, because I'll be the first person to talk about an Angel Reese disaster class, and she started off the season so badly. And look, there are still time. Angel Reese is still going to airball a layup a game. Like, you hope that's going to get better, and if it doesn't, it is what it is. And you're seeing here, when Angel shoots like 70 and 18 shots a game, she tends to shoot a lower percentage. Like, if she's taking them efficiently, and she's attacking them. Like, late on in the game, when they put Phoebus on her, she literally walked by her own bench and did the too small gesture to her own coach, and then suddenly just started cooking Phoebus. And when the matchup with Messiman was very, like, that was a good matchup. Like, Emma got her once or twice in the post. Like, Emma completely, in her defense, she was controlling a lot of that game from the big position. Got called for a couple of weird moving screens, but referees loved their moving screens. She was controlling a lot of the game from the high post, hit Reese with an and one there late in the game. But Angel just goes and takes it back at her with aggression. And it's a type of aggression that, outside of Alyssa Thomas, like, there's nobody that has that level of aggression. And the difference is that Angel's not a dirty player. She's not as skilled as Alyssa Thomas. Don't get it twisted. She's not as skilled. She's not as skilled as AT. But, and if you want to say, okay, maybe her playing like Alyssa Thomas isn't going to work long term, I agree with that. But her first step for a forward is scary. And I think she's the strongest player in the league. I think she's actually the strongest player in the league. And this is a must-win game for Liberty, so it wasn't like this was a nothing game. And people are like, oh, any team can get got. The Sky, I mean this when I say this, like, the Sky won that game more so than the Liberty losing. Yes, the Liberty missed a lot of open shots. The Sky's defense is still horrendous. They still have a complete inability to guard the pick and roll. They have a complete inability to guard the PNR. Like, they have, and that's the problem when you've got a 6'7", slow-footed center playing 35 minutes. They're going to attack her every single time. And the Liberty were swinging to open three-point shots for the entire game. And the only players that were hitting them were Maureen Johannes and John Quell. And Phoebus was 2 or 3. But it just does. The Sky, I felt like, were the aggressors. And when Ariel Atkins and Angel Reese play, the Sky aren't a bad team. They're not a good team. They're not a bad team. When the two of those players play, the Sky are the 10th best team in the league. The Sky are better than the Mystics when the two of them play. When one of them plays, they kind of suck. When none of them play, they're embarrassingly bad. When the two of them play, they're a really good team. They're a really, really good team because Ariel Atkins is that kind of pull-up mid-range shot creator, which is the type of player that you need as a primary guard beside an Angel Reese and a Camila Cardoso. It does also help when you've got yourself a Sevgi Uzgun, who's an actual point guard. As in, like, she's not looking for hers all the time. Kia Nurse's minutes are gone down. Maddie Westbell's out of the rotation. Like, the Sky, because the Sky don't have their pick, they should be trying to win every single game the rest of the year. Same with the Sun. And two of those teams should be trying to win every game the rest of the year because the more games the Sky win, ironically, am I right in saying? No, the Sun won too many games last year. They're not really affecting the Sky. But, yeah, this was a huge game. This is a huge game. And look, if I'm going to go and make the Angel Reese disaster class videos, I got to talk about her in a positive way. And look, when it comes to Angel Reese, her motor, I will always say this when it comes to her motor and her willingness to shoot down the stretch. For better or for worse is the best way I can describe it. Because there are games where Angel Reese is going to miss 4 shots in a row down the stretch in a close game and lose you the game. But more often than not, she seems to get big offensive rebounds. When the other team gets tired, she seems to thrive because she has that extra energy. She has that extra aggression. If the skill and the finishing ability long-term catches up, she's not a bad finisher. She's a terrible finisher in the post on a bigger player. But if she has the size advantage, she's not a bad finisher. She's not a bad finisher finishing over small players. And get her in the gym with a proper trainer this offseason. And it's clear that the Chicago Sky coaching staff have done a much better job with her than that stupid individual trainer that had her going tween, sidestep, slow release midi. for the whole season. Look, there's going to be a player in there, and I don't just mean like an all-star player. There is an all-W player in there somewhere. And look, at the end of the day, like we can all have the ops and everything, but like you better believe individual player rivalries are going to be good. And look, there are times to be objective. I'm still going to hate watching Chicago Sky on a rivalry. I'm still going to make videos when Angel Reese is struggling. I would have made a video, by the way, if Angel Reese too smalled her own bench and just kept hitting the too small on everyone every time she scored and they lost. Oh, you better believe there'd be a video laughing at that. But it worked out. They won. She had a serious fourth quarter. And like that's what you want to see. Like, again, I would love if the Indiana Fever had someone with the motor of Angel Reese. I think Natasha Howard shows it in spurts. But like I would love to have an Angel Reese type player beside Leah Boston. Because I think that would be like that would literally make the Fever absolutely unstoppable. And the problem is that she's plays for Chicago Sky. Like, she's never going to be good as a number one option. She's never going to be good as a 1A or as a number one option on a team where she can't really drive because there's another 6'7" player on the inside. Even though the two of them do tend to work well off each other, I don't see them ever being a semi-contender with the two of these players. I just don't. Like, it depends on what their goal is going to be. Could they make the playoffs, the two of them? There's going to be 15 teams next year. It's going to be even harder. If they don't make the playoffs next year and just give up. Give up on it. They should probably give up on it this year. But, yeah, good win. Really good win. For the Liberty, there are concerns. There are really big concerns. And I'm not as concerned as most people because Emma Messman has practiced once. Like, they have had one practice since she got there. And look, a lot of people are just expecting her to complete takeover match. She's averaging 14, 6, and 4. Like, she is putting up, outside of the rebounding, Aaliyah Boston numbers. She's putting up Aaliyah Boston numbers not practicing with her team. So when Stewie comes back, when they get a practice before the playoffs, they're going to be dangerous. My only hope for the New York Liberty is that they end up in the 4 or 5 position. But anyway, that's the video. I'll see you guys.